Hey guys, it's Alyssa, and I'm so happy to be here to be able to make this video about the 2019 Academy Award nominations. I actually have this week off from work, so I felt like, okay, I can sit down, I can do this, and I spent a lot of the week watching a lot of the nominated films. I didn't get to watch all of them, unfortunately, and I'll definitely tell you if I did not see that film, so I don't necessarily feel like I can have that much input with certain films that I haven't seen, but I do think I can predict which ones will win just based on what I've seen from the previous Academy Awards, and I've been watching this since 1992, so I was a little girl, and I remember watching the awards with Billy Crystal, and that was the year that Jack Palance won for City Slickers, so that's my first memory. And my, have the Academy Awards changed since 1992. So this year I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do a video, to be honest, because I'm just so angry at the Academy. Not only were there obviously misses in terms of those people who were snubbed, there were misses in people who got nominated who I absolutely believe should not have been nominated. And yeah, that happens every year. And yes, it's all very political, but this year definitely seems worse to me. And there's all these added features to it. So the fact that they weren't going to include best cinematography or best editing in the broadcast, I felt like they were just tailoring it so much to people who just like average movies and not people who study film and really look at the nitty-gritty of everything that goes into filmmaking. And I originally wasn't even going to watch the Academy Awards this year because I was so angry that they took those awards away, or not that they took them away, but that they wouldn't be aired live, which is really absurd. Also the fact that they didn't want to put all of the nominated songs on air. I mean, I just don't understand what they're thinking. They're trying to take away the spotlight from people, you know, who don't get it that often, and it's really not fair. So this video is going to be kind of a combo where I'm ranting about the Academy Awards, but I also want to say who I think will win, who should win, and then who could win, right? So some of the nominations, some of the categories at least, I think are cut and dry, and I'm very certain that certain people will win, but other ones not so much, maybe a bit more open. And then of course, if I feel like there really was a snub that needed to be in that category, I'm going to say something. So let's just start it off, and I'm going to start off with the best foreign film. So you're going to have to forgive me for all of these. I'm going to have to look down. I don't have all of the nominations memorized. I wish I did, but I just don't. So for best foreign film, we have Capernaum from Lebanon, Cold War from Poland, Never Look Away from Germany, Roma, which is from Mexico, and Shoplifters from Japan. Now, the only film that I have seen from this is Roma. Shoplifters just came out. I just didn't get a chance to see it yet. Never Look Away I heard was excellent. And then Cold War is coming on Amazon in America at the end of March. So I'm a little behind in these, but I think it's pretty certain to say that Roma is definitely going to take it home for best foreign film. There might be those people who think, well, because it really has a good shot of winning best picture, it may not win for best foreign film, but I think that's kind of a silly way of looking at it. I think anyone who's voting for Roma for best picture is voting for it for best foreign film. You know, Cold War could win, but I highly doubt that. So I put all my money on Roma for that one. So now on to best film editing. I am going to include this in what we're looking at, even though the Academy doesn't think editing is that important. So for best editing, we have BlacKkKlansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Green Book, The Favorite, and Vice. So I think who will win will be Vice. I think Vice will win, only because I haven't seen, this is one of the films I haven't seen, but I'm basing it on what I have seen from Adam McKay films in the past, which I know was maybe not the best thing to do, but I know he really focuses on the editing and the movement in his films. So everything I've heard about Vice, even though I heard a lot of mixed things about Vice, I think the editing is something that stood out in the film. So that's what I think will win. I think personally the favorite should win, but that was also one of my favorite movies of the year. I thought the editing was brilliant. I thought the way the story was put together was just really interesting, and there were a lot of unexpected things in that film. I just loved the structure of it. But I think who could win, and this is awful, is Bohemian Rhapsody. I think the film could win because it was such a mess, right? And so this person had to put together a mess of a film, and maybe people feel bad for that film. Now, I saw Bohemian Rhapsody, and people are gonna hate me for saying this, I hated it. I hated it so much because it was such a basic film. It was a basic biopic, incredibly one-dimensional. I didn't feel like I knew Freddie Mercury any better after watching that. I didn't learn anything about him. I felt it was just a very one-dimensional performance, but I guess we will get there later. But I do think it has some kind of strange momentum that I can't quite understand. So I think it has a shot there. So moving on to Best Cinematography, we have the nominations are Cold War, The Favorite, Never Look Away, Roma, and A Star is Born. So in terms of who I think will win, I think Roma, Alfonso Cuarón is definitely going to win for Best Cinematography. I think The Favorite personally should win for cinematography because I noticed so many odd techniques while watching the film, and that really bizarre, interesting fisheye lens, which I feel like I haven't seen in years and years. And I do have theories as to why he uses that in the film, but I thought they were doing some very interesting techniques in that particular film. I also loved the way that A Star is Born was shot, and Matthew Libatique is always just such a great cinematographer, but I don't think this one has a shot. I think this is 100% going to Roma. All right, so next up is Best Original Screenplay, and this is one of the ones where, for me, I'm really torn because I thought the original screenplays, those are the standouts to me for this particular year. So for Original Screenplay, we have The Favorite, First Reform, which I think is one of the most underrated movies of the year, Green Book, Roma, and Vice. So in terms of who will win, I actually think The Favorite will win this particular category because it took a genre and a topic, so this kind of historic period film, and it made it so fun. It just made it was not what you would expect. Of course, I knew it would not be a typical period film because it's Yorgos Lanthimos, but for the average person going into this movie, I think they might be surprised with what it's about and what the script is, and so I think that actually will win. I do think that Green Book could win, but I think there's way too much controversy going around with those particular screenwriters. Not the movie as much, but I think those screenwriters, there is a bit of controversy, so it could win. I think it has a shot. I also thought that, not that First Reform should win, but man, did it deserve that nomination amongst others that it did not get. But First Reformed, in my opinion, should have been up there for, you know, Best Picture or Best Actor. It was such a standout. It blew me away when I saw it for the first time. I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. So moving on, we have Best Adapted Screenplay. That one I'm not as interested in. So we have The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Black Klansman, Can You Ever Forgive Me, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star is Born. So I'll be totally transparent, I have not seen all of these movies. So I did not see Can You Ever Forgive Me or If Beale Street Could Talk. So I can't really weigh in on what those films were like, but I am pretty certain that BlacKkKlansman is going to win for Best Adapted Screenplay. So I'm pretty certain that will win. I do think it deserves to win. I also thought A Star is Born was such a great story, although maybe the dialogue wasn't as strong as BlacKkKlansman. So I think it will win, it should win, and like I said, I can't really weigh in with the other films, and I really thought The Ballad of Buster Scruggs should not have been nominated. I saw that right when it came out on Netflix, and some of the stories were really good. The majority were okay. There were maybe 2 stories that stood out to me. The one with the theater, I thought that one was excellent. That was probably my favorite one. But I didn't think it was as strong of a screenplay. I was kind of shocked that that got nominated. So we'll move on to animated features. So we have Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Murray, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I don't even need to have seen it to know that Spider-Man is going to win it. There is the other movies don't have a shot. It was a weak year for Disney Pixar films. Incredibles 2 was good, but it definitely doesn't deserve to win Best Animated Picture. I didn't see Ralph Breaks the Internet, so I really think this is the year for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and from what I saw of the animation, it's absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait to see that when that comes on Blu-ray, so that's definitely going to win. Alright, next up we have Best Director, so we have Spike Lee for BlacKkKlansman, Pavel Pawlikowski for Cold War, Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, and then Adam McKay for Vice. So first I want to say who is obviously missing here is Bradley Cooper, who 100% should have been nominated for A Star is Born. When I think of everything that went into that movie and everything that he put together, and how he was a part of every single aspect of this film, and how he got these incredible performances out of people. I mean, how was Lady Gaga that good in it? I still can't process. I've seen the movie really recently, so I'm still processing how much I actually liked it, because I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. So I'm shocked he didn't get nominated for Best Director. Of course, it's a bit odd to me that Pavel Pawlikowski is nominated for Cold War. Once again, I didn't see the film, but it seems like such a blaring omission to not have Bradley Cooper here, and it does seem like Adam McKay gets nominated for everything. So let's go into who will win, which is obviously Alfonso Cuarón for Roma. I really did love Roma. I would say it was probably my 3rd or 4th favorite film of the year. I thought it was absolutely beautiful, beautifully shot. What a wonderful story. So I am glad that he's going to win it. I am probably a little more partial to films that Yorgos Lanthimos has made in the first place. So, my heart probably goes with him a bit more. That's who I would want to win. But I don't think anyone else has a shot. So there's no could win in this category. Alfonso Cuarón is definitely winning. All right, so next up we have Best Supporting Actress. So we have Amy Adams for Vice, Marina de Tavira for Roma, Regina King, If Beale Street Could Talk, Rachel Weisz for The Favorite, and Emma Stone for The Favorite. So who will win? Absolutely Regina King. She hasn't lost anything for If Beale Street Could Talk. Can't really weigh in on this one because I haven't seen this film, so I don't want to say whether I think she deserves it or not, because I haven't seen it. But who I liked the most out of this group was Rachel Weisz in The Favorite. So that's who I would want to win. I don't think that there's any could win in this category. I think there's maybe an outside shot that Rachel Weisz could win, although I really think it's definitely going to be Regina King. So, all right, going to Best Supporting Actor. We have Mahershala Ali for Green Book, Adam Driver for BlacKkKlansman, Sam Elliott for A Star is Born, Richard E. Grant, Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Sam Rockwell for Vice. Why is Sam Rockwell here? I haven't seen the film once again, but I know that he's only in it for 10 minutes, and the fact that Timothée Chalamet did not get nominated for Beautiful Boy, that broke my heart, because while I did not think that Beautiful Boy was a perfect film, I felt that the director had a little bit of issues. He had some issues with tone and music choices. I thought that Timothée Chalamet's performance was brilliant. It was flawless, and the fact that he's not here, because I think he should be towards the top of this list, the fact that he's not here at all is just a huge oversight. So who will win will be Mahershala Ali for Green Book, and I did not see Green Book. That's one of the films that I didn't get a chance to see. I've heard it's excellent. I always love Mahershala Ali in films, so he probably should win this one out of this group. But it's really a shame that Timothée Chalamet's not going to be there. All right, next up we have lead actress. So we have Yalitza Aparicio for Roma. We have Glenn Close for The Wife, Olivia Colman for The Favorite, Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born, and Melissa McCarthy for Can You Ever Forgive Me. So who will win? It's going to be Glenn Close for The Wife. I didn't see this movie. I've heard such negative reviews for this film. I heard her performance is very good in it, but it's not a particularly good film, which I guess they don't need to go hand in hand, although it certainly helps. But this is definitely not who I am rooting for. I really want either Olivia Colman or Lady Gaga to win. I'm shocked that these words are coming out of my mouth, because I didn't care. I've never cared one way or the other about Lady Gaga. She's never bothered me, and I've never sought out things that she's done, but now I actually will, after seeing how excellent she was in A Star Is Born and how genuine her performance was and how different that character is than who she actually is. And I think that's what my fear was going into the movie, is that she was just going to be playing a version of herself, but she really didn't. She was so opposite of herself, and she got such a genuine performance. And once again, I really do think that's mainly because of Bradley Cooper. So, but I do think that those are two little pipe dreams, Olivia Colman and Lady Gaga. I think that Glenn Close has this in the bag because she has never won an Oscar. And this is, the Academy always likes to pick like either, and we'll see this in the next category, either newbies where this is like their breakout role, or people who have been acting for quite a long time and have never won before. So that leads us into Best Actor. So we have Christian Bale in Vice, Bradley Cooper in A Star Is Born, William Dafoe at Eternity's Gate, Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, and Viggo Mortensen for Green Book. So the only two performances I haven't seen were obviously Viggo Mortensen, and I haven't seen Willem Dafoe's performance either. So who will win? Well, I really think Rami Malek is going to win, and it kills me. It actually kills me at my core. He has been, from all the articles I've been reading, he has been promoting himself like none other. So we all know that this is very political, and the amount of time that you put into it, that's what you get out of it. And I know that Rami Malek has, I think he said all the right things, and I think people feel bad for him for having to go through this unpleasant experience with Bryan Singer. And you know, he said very little, but he said just enough to make people feel sorry for him. He's been in all of the circuits. Everybody loves him. He is that ingenue of the Academy right now, and I thought his performance was at times over the top. I found the accent a little bit inconsistent because the teeth that he had, which looked so much larger than Freddie Mercury's actual teeth. I thought it was kind of absurd looking, but I felt like that actually hindered his accent. It was a very one-dimensional character. It was a very one-dimensional performance where I felt like I was never going inside his head or seeing him as a human being. He was much more of a rock god. And that's why I think Bradley Cooper should win for Best Actor for A Star Is Born, because he was the most genuine, constructed person that I've seen all year in film. I thought that I knew this person, I knew this character. When I heard him speak in the film for the first time and he had a voice that is not his own, I was blown away and knew that this was the best performance from how I look at a best performance, you know. So we look at that character, and that character isn't this rock god, and he is a person, and he can be broken down easily, and you see him as a genuine human being, whereas I felt the exact opposite. And I think it says something about the state of the world that we live in right now. I think it's easier to look up to someone who is a god, who doesn't make any mistakes, who's perfect, and then you have a character like Jackson Maine, who's clearly not a perfect character, but makes some incredibly insightful points about humanity. So I do think that Christian Bale could win. I just don't think it's going in his favor right now. I would just die of happiness if Bradley Cooper did win, but I'm also realistic and know that's not going to happen because everyone right now is on that Rami Malek train. And I know I'm going to get a lot of comments where people say that I'm wrong and that his performance is brilliant, and that's okay. We all like different things in film, right? So, all right, so we have the last category. By the way, my cat is here right now just staring at me as I'm going over this, so that's why I'm looking down every once in a while. Sorry. Okay, so the last one is Best Picture. So we have Black Panther, BlacKkKlansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice. So the only two I didn't see were Vice and Green Book. I think it is absurd that Black Panther is here. I mean, just if we look at the fact that Dark Knight was not nominated for Best Picture when it came out, there is no way that Black Panther is a better film than Dark Knight. So what will win? I actually think what will win is going to be Green Book, and that's because of the new voting system that they have. And so if you don't know what that new system is, it's actually very long to explain it, and there are videos online. I think Variety had an explanation video where they said how they did it. So basically, I think Green Book will win because most people look at that movie in a very favorable way, and I think most Academy members would have it in the top 3. And I think that while Roma could win, right, I don't think it will, because I think enough people were either bored by it, they didn't love it. So I think that it might be lower on people's list, and that actually has weight in the ranking for Best Picture. So that I think Green Book is going to be the winner here. God help me if Bohemian Rhapsody wins Best Picture like it did for the Golden Globes. That was a terrible night, by the way. One of the worst ever. What I want to win, to be honest, would be The Favorite or A Star is Born. Those were my 2 favorite movies of the year. It's hard for me to rank them. I would say A Star is Born has my heart, and The Favorite has my brain in terms of the artistry of it, the story, just how beautiful it was. But I can't stop watching A Star is Born since I bought it, and I really did not expect to like it at all. And then when I watched it again, I saw more artistry than I saw it when I saw it the first time. So I just think it's a brilliant film, and maybe it lost some steam because it came out in, I think, October. So sorry, I don't know what happened. My camera just went off for no reason at all. So that was really the end of the video, exactly as it was cutting off. So I would love to hear what you guys have to say. What do you think will win? What should win? What could win? What are you upset about with the Academy Awards? One thing I forgot to say was that I really thought that it was a snub when Ethan Hawke was not nominated for First Reform. This was by far one of the best performances of the whole year. In fact, it was my second favorite male performance of the year. So I don't know how he didn't get that nomination. He was nominated for so many other things beforehand, but maybe the film was just too small. I'm not sure, but he really deserved it. So anyway, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Make sure that you like the video and subscribe. I think I actually am at a point where I'm going to have more time to make videos, which is a really exciting thing. And I know I've said that in the past, but it hasn't always worked out because other things came up, but now I think I'm at a point where I can actually come back to this, so it's really exciting. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to this point, this was probably a very long video, so thank you so much, and make sure that you leave a comment below. Bye guys.